November 1944. American pilot is flying his plane over Germany on a night mission. The sky is dark, enemy territory is below, and everything seems normal for a combat flight. Then he sees them. Several glowing balls of light appear out of nowhere and start flying right next to his aircraft. They are bright, orange and red, moving in ways that make no sense. They match his speed perfectly. When he speeds up, they speed up. When he slows down, they slow down. When he turns, they turn with him. The pilot tries to shake them off. He dives, he climbs, he makes sharp turns. Nothing works. These things stay with him, like they're attached to his plane by an invisible rope. He radios his base in a panic. He thinks the Germans have developed some kind of new secret weapon and it is about to kill him. But the lights do not attack. They just follow him. For several minutes, they fly alongside his plane, glowing silently in the darkness. And then, just as suddenly as they appeared, they shoot straight up into the sky and vanish. When the pilot lands and reports what he saw, his commanders have no idea what to tell him, because dozens of other pilots have been reporting the exact same thing. They called these mysterious lights the Foo Fighters, and after 80 years, we still do not know what they were. Before we go any further, let me explain what exactly the Foo Fighters were and why this name sounds so strange. During World War II, Allied pilots started using the term Foo Fighters to describe mysterious glowing objects that followed their aircraft during missions. The name came from a popular comic strip at the time called Smokey Stover, where a character often said the nonsense phrase, "Where there is foo, there is fire." It was a joke at first. Pilots would come back from missions with crazy stories about lights in the sky, and their friends would laugh and say they were seeing Foo Fighters. But as more and more pilots reported the same thing, it stopped being funny. These objects were described as balls of light, usually orange, red, or white, sometimes appearing alone and sometimes in groups. They ranged in size from small, like a basketball, to large, like a car. They moved with incredible speed and could change direction instantly in ways that no aircraft of that era could match. The strangest part was their behavior. They did not attack. They did not cause any damage. They just followed the planes, sometimes for a few seconds, sometimes for many minutes, and then disappeared without a trace. The first official reports of Foo Fighters came from the European theater in late 1944. American bomber crews flying night missions over Germany started reporting strange encounters that they could not explain. One of the most famous early reports came from a pilot with the 415th Night Fighter Squadron. He was flying over the Rhine Valley in Germany when he spotted about 10 small balls of reddish light flying in formation. At first, he thought there was some kind of enemy aircraft, so he prepared to engage. But when he tried to approach them, they simply flew away at impossible speed. What made this report significant was that it was not just one pilot seeing things. His entire crew witnessed the same objects. Multiple trained military observers all confirmed that something strange was in the sky with them that night. Within weeks, similar reports started flooding in from other squadrons. Pilots described glowing spheres that paced their aircraft, sometimes coming within just a few feet of their wings. Some reported single lights. Others reported groups of 5, 10, or even more objects flying in perfect formation. The reports were so consistent and so numerous that military intelligence could not ignore them. Something was happening in the skies over Europe, and nobody knew what it was. Here is where the mystery gets even stranger. At first, American and British commanders assumed these lights were some kind of German secret weapon, maybe a new type of flare, maybe a psychological warfare tool, maybe something even more advanced. The Germans were known for developing experimental technology, so this seemed like a reasonable explanation. But then Allied intelligence officers discovered something that made no sense at all. German pilots were reporting the exact same thing.
Luftwaffe aircrews flying missions against the Allies were coming back with identical stories. Glowing balls of light that followed their planes, matched their movements, and then disappeared. German commanders had assumed these objects were a British or American secret weapon. Both sides were seeing the same mysterious lights. Both sides were terrified of them, and both sides had absolutely no idea what they were. This discovery ruled out the most obvious explanation. If the Germans did not create the Foo Fighters, and the Allies did not create them either, then who did? Or what did? The mystery was no longer just strange. It was becoming genuinely unsettling. As the reports continued to pile up, some pilots decided to take matters into their own hands. If these things were following their aircraft, maybe they could be shot down, or at least driven away. It did not work. Multiple pilots attempted to engage the Foo Fighters, either by firing their guns at them or by trying to ram them with their aircraft. Every single attempt failed. One pilot reported firing hundreds of rounds directly at a glowing object that was flying just off his wing. The bullets seemed to pass right through it. Or maybe they missed entirely. It was impossible to tell. The object showed no reaction at all. It did not explode, it did not fall, it did not even move away. It just kept glowing and kept following. Other pilots tried to chase the objects, pushing their engines to maximum speed. But no matter how fast they flew, the Foo Fighters were always faster. They could accelerate instantly and disappear over the horizon in seconds. No aircraft in World War II on either side could move like that. Some pilots reported that when they flew directly at a Foo Fighter, the object would simply blink out of existence, as if someone had turned off a light switch. Then it would reappear somewhere else, continuing to follow the plane as if nothing had happened. Whatever these things were, they were completely beyond the technology of the 1940s. With so many reports coming in, the military had no choice but to investigate. Both American and British intelligence launched official inquiries into the Foo Fighter phenomenon. Investigators interviewed hundreds of pilots, collected detailed reports, and analyzed every possible explanation. They consulted scientists, engineers, and weapons experts. They reviewed captured German documents to see if the enemy had developed anything that could explain the sightings. The conclusion was frustrating. They could not explain it. Official reports acknowledged that trained military observers were seeing real objects in the sky. These were not hallucinations or mistakes. Too many people had seen the same thing, described in the same way across too many different missions for this to be imagination. But beyond confirming that something was happening, the investigators could not say what it was. They ruled out German weapons, they ruled out Allied experiments, they considered natural phenomena like ball lightning or St. Elmo's fire, but these explanations did not match what pilots were describing. The reports were eventually classified and filed away. When the war ended, the military had bigger things to worry about than mysterious lights in the sky. The Foo Fighters became a footnote in history, an unsolved puzzle that most people forgot about. So what were the Foo Fighters? After decades of research and speculation, there are several theories, but no definitive answers. The first theory is experimental aircraft. Some researchers believe that either Germany or possibly another country had developed some kind of advanced drone or unmanned aircraft that was never publicly revealed. These secret machines could have been used for observation, which would explain why they followed planes but never attacked. The second theory is natural phenomena. Ball lightning is a rare electrical event that creates glowing spheres in the atmosphere. Some scientists think pilots might have encountered unusual weather phenomena that appear to be intelligent because of how air currents move them around aircraft. The third theory is the one that makes most people uncomfortable. Some believe the Foo Fighters were not human technology at all. They were something else entirely. Unidentified flying objects. Vehicles controlled by an intelligence that was observing the largest conflict in human history. Think about it. If you wanted to study humanity, what better time to observe than during a world war? Millions of people, thousands of aircraft, the most advanced technology humans had ever created, all concentrated in one place.
If someone or something wanted to watch us, World War II would have been the perfect opportunity. The Foo Fighters remain one of the most fascinating mysteries of World War II. Hundreds of trained military observers from multiple countries on both sides of the conflict all reported seeing the same thing: glowing objects that defied the laws of physics as we understood them.
They were not weapons because they never attacked. They were not hallucinations because too many people saw them. They were not secret technology because no country has ever claimed responsibility for creating them. 80 years later, we still do not know what flew alongside those warplanes in the dark skies over Europe. Maybe they were a natural phenomenon we do not yet understand. Maybe they were secret experiments that remain classified to this day. Or maybe they were something else entirely, something watching us from beyond our understanding. What do you think they were? Leave your theory in the comments. And if you think the Foo Fighters were strange, wait until you hear about Die Glocke, a secret Nazi project so mysterious that everyone who worked on it disappeared, and the object itself vanished without a trace. That story is coming next. Subscribe so you do not miss it.